Welcome to Film Club. The Bad Batch Season 2 Episode 10 Retrieval is out now. In this video we review the plot, characters and rate the episode at the end, while comparing it to the other episodes this season and their Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb scores. Full spoilers ahead, so if you want to go into the episode blind, then perhaps come back later. With that out of the way, straight on to the plot. Following on directly from Episode 9, the Bad Batch are without their recently stolen ship and are stuck on a desert planet in an abandoned spaceport. After Sid was of no help in Episode 9 to get them off the planet, the Bad Batch start fixing a rusted speeder bike. Suddenly, Omega has an idea as to how they can find their stolen ship. Her idea is to track Gonky, the lovable Gonk droid who is still in their ship. We then see the hijacker, a young boy called Benny, land the Batch's Marauder ship into an old Ipsian mine. The mine was run by the Techno Union until Anakin killed the separatists on Mustafar, including Wat Tambor, the leader of the Techno Union. Now the mine contained a group of Oliver Twist type orphans, including Benny, who was working for scraps and rations under the harsh rule of Mako. The Batch track Gonky and find Benny. They force Benny to lead them to their ship. Hunter, Tech and Wrecker repair the ship, whilst Omega and Benny deactivate the ray shield. Mako captures Omega and threatens to drop her down the mine unless the Batch hand over their weapons. Benny reveals records that Omega found, showing that Mako is making a lot of profit from the mine and keeping all the money for himself. The teenagers, who are being paid in rations, confront Mako and he falls off a bridge into the deep mine below. The Batch now have their ship and Gonky back, and they leave the planet. A very predictable plot that adds very little to the overarching story of the show. Plot scores 5 out of 10. Entertainment value. Not every episode of The Bad Batch has to be a hit, but it would be good if this is a one-off. Such a cliche story that you could predict from the moment you saw Benny remove his helmet. Just seeing what he looked like, with his tattoos and raggy clothing, you just know that this was going to be a smaller, sillier episode aimed at younger audiences. Entertainment value scores 6 out of 10. Characters and performances. Hunter did a good move, jumping down and pushing Mako's security droid into the exhaust chute. But like Wrecker and Tech, he had very little to do this episode, reverting back to their stereotypes, with Wrecker often growling at Benny and Tech analysing his datapad. Omega, as always, managed to get captured and was saved by Hunter. Her relationship with Hunter, as her adopted father, falls short of Din Djarin and Grogu's, but it's still a lovely relationship. The less said about Mako, Benny, and I'm guessing the orphan teenagers, the better. They can be put in the same box as the mod gang from the Book of Boba Fett, hopefully never to be seen again. Characters and performances score 5 out of 10. Visuals. Graphics are of high quality in The Bad Batch, but this is the least visually impressive episode. Nothing really stands out, and most of the episode is fairly dark. It matches the tone of the episode and depicts the poverty of the planet well. There were 1 or 2 nice setting shots of the mine and the planet. Visuals score 6 out of 10. Sound. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if there was any music or not. The soundtrack wasn't noticeable. Also, Mako's voice was very lispy. Pot calling the kettle black, I know, but nonetheless, it was quite strange. Sound scores 6 out of 10. Ending. Going into episode 10, I was thinking that we would be exploring Sid's letting down of the Bad Batch by not helping extract them from the planet, or a continuation of Tech and Omega's relationship. Tech and Omega did talk at the end of the episode, but only a line or 2 of dialogue. I suppose it's good that the group have their ship back, but the ending matches the rest of the episode, which was unremarkable. If you miss this one, don't worry. Ending scores 5 out of 10. Rating. Episode 10 of The Bad Batch scores 55%, the lowest score of the season. Miles off the Great Crosshair episode and Coruscant mid-season 2-episode arc in episode 7 and 8. Episode comparison. It's hard to judge The Bad Batch. It's the most inconsistent show I've ever watched. Episodes 7 and 8 were mature and/or light political thrillers that treat the Empire as strong antagonists. Episode 3 had Crosshair, the most complex character in the show, showing how he and Cody don't fit into the structure of the Empire, like they did the Republic. But as well as these episodes, there's episodes like this one and episode 4, Faster, where each episode is separated from the overall plot and the group go on an adventure that is introduced and concluded during that one sitting. This episode is fine to put on for the kids before they go to school, but as an adult, there's not much to chew over. Series comparison. 10 episodes in, The Bad Batch Season 2 drops off the top 10 and stands at 11th place. with an overall rating of 77%. Before this episode, Season 2 was in 10th place, above Peaky Blinders Season 6. But Episode 10 has brought the overall rating down by 4%. Hopefully next week, we'll return to the great heights that the Bad Batch can reach, with possible consequences for Sid on the horizon after she cut off the group's transmission at the end of Episode 9. Franchise comparison. Compared to other Star Wars shows, The Bad Batch Season 2 stands above Kenobi and The Book of Boba Fett in 5th place. I highly doubt it will reach the likes of The Mandalorian, Tales of the Jedi or Andor. I think the question I still don't know the answer to is whether Season 2 is a step up from Season 1. At the end of Season 2, if The Bad Batch reaches 80% overall, then it's done well. If it's in the 70s, then it will have succumbed to the problems that plague Season 1 of The Bad Batch. That is, tonal indecision and inconsistency of episodes, with great one-off episodes, and then simple contained smaller episodes throughout. My rating so far of 77% for Season 2, compared to IMDb user rating of 7.8 out of 10, shows that I'm not the only one who enjoys, but has a few hang-ups for Season 2. The Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter currently stands at 86% for the season overall, whereas the audience score is 82%. Next week, we'll be reviewing Episode 11 of The Bad Batch, as well as the first episode of Mando Season 3, which is very exciting indeed. So for more videos like this, please consider subscribing to Film Club. See you again.